Welcome to the Liverpool Connection podcast. Julian, Glenn, Steve Wilson, Chris Delcross. First of all, make sure you like and make sure you subscribe, all of that good stuff, so that you see this quite fascinating footage of all these great things we talk about. But what we're going to do today, we're going to talk about the Merseyside Derby. We're going to talk about our favourite moments, our favourite games. There's been plenty of them, which is why, in a small, tiny way, I want Everton to stay up, because there's always a great moment every season. At the same point, there's a lot of me that wants them to go down. So, the Merseyside Derby. I'll start with Chris. What's been your favourite memory of that game?
There's been a load. I think there's been plenty of them, to be fair. Recently Origi, short arms. That was a good moment. There's been plenty of good battles down the line. But I think the one that stands out for me was the 3-2 at Goodison in 2001, when they were fighting relegation, and we were looking to finish top four, and McAllister came up with an absolute perler in the 90-odd minute of a free kick. And I remember being in the local pub in Ireland, and we went absolutely mental. It was a great memory. It was brilliant game. Really enjoyed that game, and I'd say that one probably sticks out.
I can't really remember that much about it. I remember, I know I look like an old bastard, but I was actually quite young then. And we were at a football tournament in Blackpool, and it was on in like a little bar. It's funny because over here you're like kids in the bar.
Yeah.
But and our football coach was like a big red, and he's from Huyton and stuff. And I remember he was going mental. I just remember all these adults in the bar, and he was just all over the place going insane. But I think it's got to be one of the most iconic free kicks in our history, hasn't it?
Yeah, the game was a really weird game too. We scored fairly early, and I think nowadays that goal would have been brought back, and it probably would have been a penalty to Everton. Carragher handballed it, and we went down the other end, and Heskey scored and spun the discs. And then it went 1-1.
Great celebration that, wasn't it, by the way?
And then Everton missed a sitter then as well at 1-0 of a header, about 4 yards out. Your man I can't remember who it was, diving header, put it wide, and then they equalised. I think it was Duncan Ferguson, 1-1.
Shoot off.
And then they should have scored again to go 2-1 up, and they missed another sitter. We went down the field and we scored, and then 2-2. Kind of clumsy, real shitty penalty too. Bishkan gets sent off down to 10 men, and then fucking McAllister pops up in the 90-odd minute with a fucking ridiculous free kick. What the keeper was doing, I don't know what he was doing.
So you were in a pub in
we went mental.
You were in
Mooreswell in
Blackpool.
Ireland.
Yeah.
I was in Felton, which is this shitty little town
Up here in Texas?
not far from Heathrow Airport. And I remember watching that in Felton, and it was in this kind of crappy English bowling alley arcade thing that had the TVs on, and it was packed, and there was a lot of people watching the game. And I still remember Houlier's face and the biggest smile when McAllister
just couldn't
hit
believe
that
it.
in. It was a brilliant moment. It was like a surprise free kick, wasn't it? Because no one expected it. The goalkeeper didn't expect it. It was so far out. And
Two-man wall. It was
goal.
ridiculous. It was just mad. What the keeper was doing, I'll just never know. He was way off the far side with a two-man wall. Yeah. It was pretty genius actually by McAllister to go for it and to be able to see that. But I'll never forget it, because there was up over the bar there was this kind of, I don't know what it was, but we fucking hammered it.
Yeah.
And there was dust and shit and moths and old crap just fell everywhere on the bar. We went absolutely mental. But remember, it was fucking great day. Brilliant day.
Have you got the team there?
Yeah.
The team
was Westerveld, I had to look this up because I couldn't really remember. Westerveld, Stephen Henshaw, Marcus Babbel, Sammy Hippia, Jamie Carragher. Couple of good lads coming up here now. Smeacher, Hamann, McAllister, Bishkan, Emil Heskey and Robbie Fowler. And the subs, we met the subs lads. Janie Mack, we're complaining about fucking our squad now, huh? Peggy Arpexhad, sub goalie, Christian Ziga, Gregory Vignal, Stephen Wright and Michael Owen. And we made one substitution apparently that day. Vignal came on for Fowler in the 83rd minute. Mad.
People moaning about our squad now.
Yeah, right.
Even with all the subs.
I mean, that's the basis, though. We obviously won the treble with the majority of that first
That was
team.
that season.
I mean, there's a number of players in that first team that would be like knocking on the door of the first team now, and would definitely have been in the squad. I mean, there's some quality players in that team.
There's a couple.
You know, there's more than a couple.
Well, there's
more than
five.
a couple.
Well, there's 5 of those players that have a European Cup winners medal.
Fuck. Yeah, come on.
But that's the truth, though.
Yeah, but what?
Stefan Henshaw, like at the moment, any day of the week would get in our team. No, I mean, really? I thought he was a fantastic.
I'd have him over
player.
Gomez for sure. Oh yeah. No, I'd agree.
Right now,
this current,
come on.
He's
the
got
right
a lot of
now,
players right
like
now.
the team
Yeah.
that's going to play on Monday.
Yeah, I
we're
would take
talking about the
every
team that's
day
going
of
to
the
play
week.
on Monday. Yeah, I take
That's
Henshaw.
That's a decent. That's all
I
right.
take Hepia over Matip.
Yes.
I take Babel. Nah, probably. Nah.
Yeah, of course you would.
I would. No, I didn't. I held
Yes.
myself back. I probably wouldn't. You're right. I probably
That's
wouldn't.
three.
Right, Carragher.
But
Yeah, I
you're
wouldn't.
saying stuff like when Liverpool are it's worse. So anyway, let's
You
move
wouldn't.
on
I
to
wouldn't mind
goals.
putting Hammond though in at 6 on Monday night.
Massive bellend though, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a bellend,
He's an
but-
absolute knob. No, recently just comes out.
Whatever.
Anyway,
So was
should we move on?
Maradona. But come on, that doesn't
I mean,
mean
he was
anything.
Great memories.
bellend.
Who's
All
next?
right.
Great bellend,
Let's
wasn't
go on to
Mr. Wilson.
Mr. Wilson. You're up.
Oh, he's leaving right when I'm about to talk about
He's
this.
going to take a munch out of his slider.
So my favorite Merseyside Derby goal is the Curtis Jones goal, 2020 FA Cup, 1-0 victory.
Why are you shaking?
Why are you shaking your head?
I've forgotten about that game.
Okay. So what was great about this game? A lot of things were great about this game. First of all, that game, we're in the midst of 5 different competitions in 27 days. Right?
Someone's done this research. Is this a true stat?
It's true. Yeah, you guys fact check me. You guys out there fact check me.
Yeah, it'll
So-
be wrong.
So, but we played all the kids. We had 2 regular starters out of that in that whole lineup. So if you want to go through the lineup, we can go through the lineup.
Well, let's have a little for a bit of a laugh
for a bit of laugh.
between the 3 of us.
Okay. Let's go.
Who started that day?
Keeper.
Who was the
We
keeper?
already said the keeper was Adrian.
All right. I know Adam Lallana played centre mid.
Yeah.
I know
Yes.
Williams played right back.
He did. Yes. Who are the centre backs?
Was the centre backs? Joe Gomez would have been one,
Gomez was one.
and the other centre back would have been shit.
Williams, was it?
No.
Wasn't Phillips.
No, it was was it Phillips?
It was Phillips. That was his first start for
Was
Liverpool
it?
senior team.
The left back was it Larucci?
It was Milner started, and then he got hurt after 10 minutes. Then Larucci came
on.
in. Yes.
See, I've got a good memory. Doing
Okay.
That. Centre midfield, we've already said. Curtis playing in front 3. He playing centre mid.
He played in the midfield, Curtis.
Curtis,
Oh well,
Lallana,
well, something like
Curtis,
that.
Lallana, and then was it Tyler Morton maybe?
Yeah. No. Tyler Morton was like 12, I think.
Okay, so who was centre mid then?
Chiravella,
Oh, that's right, yeah, Chilwell, yeah. Okay, front 3, Minamino play.
Taki's first game for Liverpool.
Okay, so Minamino. That's when it gets a bit tricky. Divock didn't play, did he?
Rigi started. You're missing one person.
I'm doing well here. These 2 are fucking doing nothing, aren't they?
Man, you do it.
Give me the whole back line.
You're the youngest one here. Come on.
What, 2 years ago?
Yeah. It makes
on
a
the
big difference.
on
tell
the
me.
right, on the. But you make out as if I'm 12. Or
One
something.
more. Come on.
Right wing.
Come on, Glenn.
Was
Elliot.
Was it, yeah?
Yeah, so
Wow.
that game we started with 3 teenagers, and at one point in the game we had 4 when LaRucci came in for Milner, right?
Yeah.
So 4 games. You had Taki playing his first game, Phillips his first game on the senior team. So, and then you have Everton playing pretty much their full squad. You know, Ancelotti, they're like thinking they're going to come to Liverpool, win their first game at Liverpool since 1999, right? So we're talking 20 years on and won. So they're thinking they're going to come in, bash this change side, and then Jones comes out there, puts a nice curler in there.
Do you know what, though? I remember, like, what was your feeling at the time? Because I was fuming. I was absolutely fuming with that team.
That we didn't take it seriously.
Yeah.
Right.
And loads of people
It's
were.
the third round of the FA Cup.
Loads of people were. But, like, when he put that team out, I was like, no, like, you don't do that against them. I don't care what you're doing. You don't put out that team against them.
If you remember, that was the big controversy, right? This is your rival across the park.
Yeah.
Why are you playing such a changed side? But like I mentioned, 5 different competitions in a month's time.
But you
This
wouldn't
is
know
when
much about it.
we're about to win the league.
You.
So
I probably was. I was probably giving out like fuck. I'd imagine me. I was probably down here going.
I think we were here at the pub for that. I remember being at the pub for it.
Yeah, we watched that.
We watched it here.
But you know what
I was surprised.
Yeah. What I liked about that goal is because then Jones scored in the next round of the FA Cup too against Shrewsbury. What I liked about that goal and the way he played that game, he showed that he was a player. And right now he's getting so much stick, obviously, because of his injuries. There's a player there, and I hope it comes out eventually if he can get his injuries under control. But that's my Merseyside Derby best goal, or that I really cherish that one.
Do you know what's really funny is I think after that one there, because there's so many of these moments where you think, if you're a Blue, I'm just gonna give up. I've got a mate now that he's just like, it is what it is. Like, I'm not even asked. Just get it over and done with. And there's a lot of Blues that are just like, just give them the 6 points every year, because it's just. But that, I think that's the one where you're thinking, if you're a Blue, these fucking pricks will always beat us. It's like, if you know that thing, like, a few things in life you're gonna get: death, taxes, and getting beat by Liverpool.
But I mean, if you see the reaction of Klopp and the people on the bench, they didn't think they were ever going to win that game, and you can just tell when Jones scored it, they were kind of almost laughing about it, right? So that's my memory about it. That's my favorite
amazing.
one.
Me?
Glenn,
So
what do you got?
I've gone. So what I like about it is we've all gone sort of different periods. So for mine, it was back in 2007, and at the time, Everton and Liverpool were sort of going toe to toe. We had a couple of years, even that in 2005 when they finished above us. I think we might have won something that year though. Maybe European Cup.
We'll
maybe.
check.
I think we won the European Cup. Maybe.
We got to the final in 07 too.
Yeah, we did. But it was the game where we were getting. So my favourite derbies. I don't really want to win 4-0. I win 5-0. I don't. Give me the ones where they've got loads of hope, and that they think this. I'm sort of a little bit okay with this one coming in now because they're starting to get their tails up a little bit. When they've got a little bit of hope. Yeah. And then we burst the bubble. That's the best one. So this one is they're winning 1-0. They're winning 1-0, and it was a hoop your own goal. That was right. It was a hoop your own goal. 1-0 at half time, and then we're struggling in the game. And it's the one where he takes Gerrard off and brings on Lucas. And I don't know if you just remember that. And like he takes Gerrard off, and Gerrard sort of like gives the captain's armband to Carragher, and Carragher's like, "What's up, yeah? You injured or what?" And he's just sort of looking at him like, I don't know what's going on. But he takes him off. Lucas comes on, and Kai actually scores 2 goals. He scores 2 pens. You remember it?
But the fans are giving it as well when Gerrard's coming off too.
Yeah, they are, because they're like, what's going on here? What's going on here? And then, but Lucas comes on. Rafa's like, yeah. Gerrard, he play with his heart, no character. You know, it's like, that's my Rafa one.
Darren Farley safe.
In his character, you know?
It's like a weird Rafa Houllier combination.
Yeah, all right, fucking hell. Thanks, mate.
Yeah,
But
nearly as good as
anyway,
Carry on.
he and that's also the game where Kai basically kung fu kicks. Oh, who is it? He does it, mate. It's a red card. every single day of the week. Like Sunday league, it's. Can you remember
He's
it?
about 3 foot
Can you
off
remember
the
it?
ground,
Oh my
yeah.
god, it's horrific.
Yeah, over on the sideline,
And
wasn't
he doesn't get anything. Oh, it's so funny. And then the fact that he scores the winner, it just makes it even better. And yeah, at that time I was going to a lot of games, and obviously because they were doing really well, it was just unbelievable feeling. Really was. Liverpool team that day, by the way. Reina, this is a much better team than the last one, by the way. Reina, Finnan, Carragher, Hoopier, Risa, Gerrard, Mascherano, Sissoko, not bad. Ben Ayoun, Dirk Kuyt, Andre Voronin.
Okay, well, you've just destroyed that.
I know I did. I know.
You're
Do you know what?
pretty well there.
What's mental is the Crouch was on the bench and didn't come on. So I don't know if they had. I don't know if he was injured or whatever. But yeah, Kuyt scored a last minute pen. Like, oh my god, like dream. That's sort of as that would be a dream as a person to score a last minute winner against them. Like, what a feeling.
Not a dream to play with Voronin and say you've done that.
Yeah, to say that as well. Forget Steven Gerrard, the Ukrainian porn star. Yeah. Anyway, on to you.
Okay, so I'm going to pick. The only one as old as me here is Wilson. Chris, you're a little bit behind as well, but Wilson, you're in the same ballpark as me. All right, how old are you? Like you're like close. You're like a little bit older, but you're in that in that same area. So I'm going to go back to 1986. So I was 11 years old, and it was the Liverpool-Everton FA Cup final, which was massive deal. Merseyside at Wembley. I still remember at 11 years old the build-up to that, and the FA Cup final was on TV. Like, if you couldn't go to the game, was on TV the entire day.
All day.
Right,
Great,
it was a
wasn't it?
big
It was brilliant.
build-up with
Was
football
brilliant.
focus, grandstand, and you'd have interviews with the players on the coach, and they'd be at the hotel, etc.
So
It was, Des Lynam, the legend, the smooth one himself.
So
right?
similar to like modern day Super Bowl coverage here in the United States, where it's the whole day, it's
Yes.
12-hour pregame.
With less commercials.
Right, I'm just bringing some
Less ego.
context to it. Context to it.
And it was, but the context for America, it was entire day. It was a big event, and it was on the two main TV channels in England, which was the BBC and ITV. They would both show it simultaneously live. So, and even if you weren't a fan of the teams in the FA Cup final back then, you would watch the FA Cup final, regardless of who was playing. But the 86 Liverpool-Everton, it was a massive deal. You would sit down at like 9 a.m. in the morning, watch the entire broadcast. And I still remember before the game, there's this famous clip of a fan swinging into Wembley to get through the window. I'd love to know whatever happened to that fan.
I just saw that video today, actually.
You saw that today, and it's amazing how, one of the fans is kind of outside the window, and he jumps across, like swinging like a little mini Tarzan, grabs him, and just a little slip, and he falls probably, and he's in big trouble, but he makes it in. But that game was, Kenny Dalglish was the player manager. He started that game, and there was this big call for him to come into the team that season. 'Cause he wasn't starting. He wasn't starting.
So I was just going to say, just before we get into the actual game itself, do you think in some ways that because obviously back then you would get the odd game on, and it would usually be a big one. Like when it came to the FA Cup, it was just so exciting because you didn't have now. You basically got football on every single day, and sometimes when Liverpool was shite anyway. It's a pain in the ass. But back then,
it's overload now, right? It's almost to the point of exhaustion that there's so many games are on TV. That it was the FA Cup final.
It's a big thing.
Was a big deal. I remember
the other thing I can think of that kind of compared, because in Ireland it was the very same as well. It was a huge big day. We'd watch BBC pretty much all day and watch the game, no matter who was playing, whether it was Liverpool, whether it was United, whether it was Arsenal, whoever was playing in the FA Cup final, you'd go and watch it. The only kind of, from an Irish point of view, the only other day that kind of compared with that was Grand National Day.
Yeah.
Whereas the same thing, there was a big build-up. BBC had it at the time, and it would be a huge, and just everybody had just watched.
It was an event. Everyone would watch it.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to think that the semi-finals weren't on TV live. For example, we played Southampton in the semi-final. That wasn't on TV, but it gets to the final, and it is a huge deal. It's on a Saturday, and we were favourites, even though Everton had a brilliant side through those years.
I'm just going to say, the Everton team, like some of the players they had, like Gary Stevens, Ken Radcliffe, Peter Reid, Trevor Stephen, Gary Lineker, Sharp, Racewell, Sheedy. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's probably the best.
That was the best.
Probably the best period. That was definitely the best period of
Everton.
Everton for sure. Like, I mean, maybe a little bit earlier on in the 60s, I don't know, but Liverpool team that day: Bruce Grobbelaar, Mark Lawrenson, Jim Beglin, Nicol, Ronnie Whelan. Alan Hansen, centre back. Ronnie Whelan, Jan Molby, Craig Johnson, Kevin McDonald, then up top the King and Ian Rush.
And it was two really good teams coming into this game, and the first half we were pretty dreadful. Like that first half, like it was a surprise as well, and then Everton took the lead through Gary Lineker, and it was a surprise. And then the second half, it was. And I'm watching this as an 11-year-old, and I was blown away, like remembering that game. I still remember every little minute detail of that game now. And Jan Molby was magnificent that second half. He dominated that game. He was involved in all 3 goals. He had like this spellbinding, wondrous performance. In the second half, we came out and like the pass from Molby to Whelan, and he flicks it to the commentary that I put up there with the Kenneth Wolfenstone for the World Cup, which is iconic to me. With this is Rush on the far side. Is this 3? It is. And it was like, and he hit it perfectly. Hits the camera in the corner to make it 3-1. But it was a magnificent day. Like magnificent occasion. I still remember every single part of that game. Dominated by Jan Molby, being amazing in the second half. Ian Rush getting 2 goals. Ronnie Whelan with that pass over to Rush. Craig Johnston scoring. That to me is still my favourite derby moment.
That year in general is like, obviously I wasn't knocking about then, but I think that year in general, because it was them, and obviously we won the league by 2 points. I was just checking. I knew it was tight. I didn't know it was that tight. We won the league by 2 points. And like, to think that you can win, that'll probably never happen again, where you're going to beat your biggest rivals in a cup final and win the league by 2 points. And they were well ahead at one point. Liverpool were really behind, but like obviously Dalglish started playing again, didn't he?
Yep.
So just makes it even bittersweet. It makes it a bit. It's that probably one of those years in our history that's just like, for a lot of people, it just can't be beaten. Can't be beaten simply by the opponent and who you've done it to.
It's such a, obviously there's the element of youth, right? When you're young and you have this attachment to it, but and I've watched the game back, right? And I've watched not just the game, but you can find it on YouTube. You can watch the entire day's broadcast, right? And the atmosphere was unbelievable. There were fans that were mixed as well. There was Everton and Liverpool fans together.
It was
this huge
just
event.
a better time.
Was.
Yeah.
It just was a better time. I sort of have that. I was saying it to you on the way down. I said it to you earlier. I kind of have that. You know, you often get asked the question, what made you follow Liverpool, or how come you follow Liverpool, or whatever. And for me, the game that sticks out for me the most, that made me kind of, there's 2 actually. That was the '89 FA Cup final. Obviously, for it was obviously terrible what happened that year, and as you kind of grow older and you kind of learn more about that, and you kind of realise, what happened that year. The FA Cup final really didn't mean a whole lot. But back when I was like 8 years old, and Aldridge scored, fucking Irish lad running around the place, and I was like, I remember, as you said, can remember just that pure fucking raw joy And I was there, fucking yeah, Liverpool's my team. And on the flip side of that, when you know you've really been bitten by the bug and there's going to be no other team for you, was when Michael Thomas scored the winner at Anfield for Arsenal to win the league. And I remember staying up with my dad, and I was in tears. He couldn't console me going to bed.
Why bring that up?
I know it's one of the worst. A happy podcast.
I know, but that's. I was just going back to that's as you're a young lad, and you kind of that's kind of what really forms that fucking unbreakable bond that you have with your team.
You remember this?
Yeah. It was terrible.
You remember that?
Yeah, it was terrible.
It's my memory. Yeah. Steve McMahon doing 1 minute.
Terrible.
What a terrible.
I think that could be a pub chat one day, like our most sad moment of being a Liverpool supporter.
Not just tune into these podcasts this year.
Not this year. Not this season, but all time. I mean,
well, we played.
But we won't do that.
The week before we played Brighton.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to turn it that way.
I'll tell you what.
My point was, we're talking about being a kid and getting gripped and engrossed in the whole thing. You have to. I think you have to kind of go through those highs and lows with your team to really fucking.
You have to have the moments, and then 100%. And we'll wrap this up in a second. But the '89 FA Cup final was something else for so many reasons, right? And and there's kids now that have just maybe become teenagers, whatever, and the Champions League final, like against AC Milan, like that's their moment where they were like, it kind of got there, it gripped them, it like grabbed them and sucked them in and became them a fan for life. And everyone, not everyone, but a lot of people have those moments, right, where it pulls you in and you're addicted, and that's it. There's no escaping it.
We heard some good stories today, right? The four of us have our different memories, but you out there, put in the comments your favorite Merseyside Derby moment. Obviously Van Dijk scoring on his debut with Liverpool, Origi's. So there's so many moments. So put your stuff in the comments, and we thank you for being part of our journey here on Pub Chat. So send us off.
You're gonna sing. Are you lonesome
Tonight? I should do like Roy Orbison for your sad moments.
No way. Next podcast.
I was alright. Alright, bye. See ya.
Cheers.